Hello, boys and girls. I hope everyone is doing fine. I just want to let you know that I do miss you, but I hope that you're able to do our lessons, that you're able to get some rest, and that you're able to also enjoy time with your family. We will once again look at our shared reading book on today. But before we begin our next story, I'd like to just remind you and review what we talked about in our last lesson. Our last lesson, we talked about the vowels and consonants. Normally, we have 5 vowels: A, E, I, O, and U. And I have Y listed because sometimes, remember, Y can be a vowel. Any letter that is not a vowel, we say that that letter is a consonant. So all the consonants are here. Remember, I indicated that Y does double duty. It can be a consonant, but it can also sometimes be a vowel. We will be going to our shared reading book in a few minutes, so make sure you have it. Let's look first at our spelling words. Remember, boys and girls, we were working on long O, and long O has the O spelling, the OW, the OA, as well as the OE. So I've listed them. And these can also be called, well, not really word families, but I've put them in order and in groups according to the spelling. So let's go down. Remember, we call going down, not a row, but a column. So we're going to go down the columns this time. These are the long O words that use the O spelling. Let's read them together. Ready, begin. Go. Cold. So and no. I added so and no just because I wanted us to remember that we already know other words too that have this spelling for long O. OW says O, so let's read these words going down the column. Show, flows, blow, and our word follow. Remember, this was an extra word also. And we talked about how this word has double consonants. Remember, consonants are letters that are not vowels. So L is a consonant. And when we double a consonant, we can break up the word and see how many parts it has. Follow has 2 parts. Follow. We would break it up here to show the syllables. Okay? So follow has 2 syllables. Follow. And that OW, of course, is saying O. Next group. OA says O. Soap. Toast. Boat. And float. Our last group, OE, says O. Let's read. Toe. Hoe, a small garden tool. Roe, this roe are eggs from a fish. And then doe, a female deer. Good job. Those are our spelling words for the week. The spelling that we concentrated on was long O. Our high frequency words Words that we see often when we read stories are always, found, know, which means to understand, and then your. Okay, now before we go to our story today, I want to review what we talked about in our last lesson when we discussed nouns. Remember nouns. We said nouns named a person, a place, or a thing. A person, like a girl, boy, man, woman, lady. A place is somewhere you can go. And then a noun can also be a thing. Now, in our last story, we talked about nouns that are in the person group. So, from the person group, we can have a common noun. Look at the words that are in the common noun column. These words are just words that refer to people. Man, yes, woman, girl, boy, street, long E, and game. We use these words every day. These words are words that talk about, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have this one, so I'm going to take this one out. I was getting ahead of myself. We'll do thing later. Man, woman, girl, boy, street are just regular common nouns. But when I talk about a particular person and I use their name, then I need to capitalize. These nouns are called proper because they are the actual names of people or places. So, this is a place. We'll hold this one for next time. And just stick with people. So, man is the common noun, but the proper noun is Mr. Ford. Or, well, if we think about the people that work at our school, we could say Mr. Lyles or Mr. Jaime. Woman is a common noun, but if we think of a particular woman and use her name, we can use something like Miss Smith or Mrs. Little or even Mrs. Huerta. Girl is the common noun, but when we use a proper noun for girl, we have to capitalize. Katie, or I could have said Jalila, or Melanie, or Abigail, or even Eleni. Boy is the common noun, but when we use it as a proper noun, we have to capitalize, like Sam, or Michael, or Alex, Chris. All of those would be proper nouns. Okay, let's take a look at our story. And in our story today, I want you to think about the common nouns and the proper nouns. And we'll stick with the person group. But if we see other nouns for places or things, we'll identify those as well. Okay, let's go to our book, My Shared Reading. We are still in our Unit 7, Past present, and future. And we're talking about why studying the past is important. We read the story about the first cars, and I hope you took time to take a look at those pictures because those pictures are interesting. It's interesting to see how cars looked 200 years ago or even 100 years ago. All right, today's story is Horses to the Rescue. I want you to think about this picture. Notice the car, the man, and then what this man is doing. And I see horses. The title is Horses to the Rescue. I wonder how horses can rescue something. Rescue, meaning to help, especially if there's a dangerous situation. Horses rescued from something that's dangerous. I think I can kind of get the idea from the picture. Okay, let's take a look. Follow along as we read. Okay. Tom groaned. He had not seen the hole in the road. When the front wheel of the car hit it, the car bounced. It went right into the pond. How was he going to get it out? Just then, Tom heard a laugh. Mr. Shea and his team of horses looked over the fence. Need help? Mr. Shea asked. He tossed Tom a rope to tie to the car. The horses pulled the car out. Give me a horse any day, Mr. Shea said. On this day, Tom had to agree. Now I want you to go back and look at the picture and notice how the car looks. This is not a car that we would see today. This is a car of the past, much like the cars in the other story. So I can make the connection and say that this car looks like a car from about 100 years ago. So that means this was a time when cars were just starting to be used and people still rode horses to get from one place to another. Now, I think I can understand better why the story is called Horses to the Rescue. How did they rescue someone? Or I can even ask, well, who did they rescue? I think you're right. They had to rescue this man. His name is Tom. And remember in the story, it said that this man, Mr. Shea, tied the rope to the car and had the horses pull the car out of the water. I'm making another connection. Today, if a car gets stuck somewhere, we have something else that can pull the cars. Can you think of what that thing is? Yes, it's called a tow truck. If your car breaks down or if you have trouble with your car, you can call a tow truck driver and he will come with his truck and pull the car out or take it to where it needs to go to get fixed. But, boys and girls, this story happened a long time before we had tow trucks. So horses were used often to pull cars if there was a problem with the car. So horses to the rescue simply means that these horses had to be used to rescue this car. Not rescue the man because he wasn't still in the car and he wasn't in danger, but they rescued the car. Okay, let's go back and read our story together.
Horses to the rescue. Tom groaned. He had not seen the hole in the road. When the front wheel of the car hit it, the car bounced. It went right into the pond. How was he going to get it out? Just then, Tom heard a laugh. Mr. Shea and his team of horses looked over the fence. Need help? Mr. Shea asked. He tossed Tom a rope to tie to the car. The horses pulled the car out. Give me a horse any day, Mr. Shea said. On this day, Tom had to agree.
Okay, so we know that Tom was the driver of the car. But at the end of the story, let's look at what is being said. Tom is the driver of the car. Who is this man? Yes, he is Mr. Shea. He's here. Maybe he's on a farm or maybe a horse ranch, but he's here with his horses. And he says, "Give me a horse any day," said Mr. Shea, or Mr. Shea said. "Give me a horse any day." That's a way of saying, I think horses are better. I think it's best to have a horse because horses can do what you need them to do. Then Tom agreed because he said on this day Tom had to agree. Well, Tom was agreeing with what Mr. Shea said. Give me a horse any day. Yeah, Tom is thinking, yes, I thought it would be better to have a car. But actually, the horses did have to save my car. All right, let's look at what we're being asked to do. And I know we're going to also identify some nouns. All right, let's get ready. Have your pens or your pencils, crayons. Let's get started. It says, circle a word that has the same O sound as toad. All right. Okay. Tom groaned. Groaned. Oh, I didn't do too good a job with that circle, but groan. I see the OA and it's saying O. Groaned. Groaned. Now, I'm not going to just circle the OA words. Some of them will have OA, some of them won't. I see another OA word. Road. That does have the long O sound. Groaned, road. Both of those have the OA spelling. Do you see anything else on this page that says O? There are at least 2 words, but they don't have OA. Let's keep going. He had not seen the hole. Hole. That's a spelling. O-blank-E. We didn't do that one this week, but we've heard about that spelling before. First grade, you know, O-blank-E, that E at the end makes the first vowel say its name. Anything else? Yes, you're right. Going. Because we know the O by itself can say O, and even if it has ing on it, it's still saying O, going. All right, let's try the next page. Anything over here? O, over. Yes, you're right. Circle over. Okay, good job. O blank E in rope. All right. Even though this is an O word, it's not saying O, it's that word is on. Okay, I think we've found all the long O spellings, the long O words. Let's see. On the next part is asking us to look at the first page. It says on the first page of the story, underline a proper noun. Okay. Proper noun. Now we talked about how proper nouns are capitalized. They're actually names. So do you see a name for a person on this page? Yes. Tom. Good job. Underline Tom. And even though it says just on the first page, let's look at the second page too. We can underline Tom again. And who was the other character in the story? What was this man's name? Yes, Mr. Shea. Mr. Shea. Oh, yes, I did skip this one, Mr. Shea. And if you want to do all the Toms, you can. So, remember, proper nouns are capitalized. So, Tom, Mr. Shea. Each time we write a proper noun, we have to use a capital letter. Good work. I want us this time, I'm going to add something to what we're being asked to do. I'm going to change the color because I want us to find some more nouns. Remember, a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. I want you to see if you can find a thing noun on the first page. A noun that is a thing. Good. You can circle it. Car. Yes. And pond. Good. What about on the second page? What are these? Right, they're horses. Horses are things. They're not a person. They're not a place. They are a thing. Okay. So, I just wanted you to find some more nouns. Okay, finally it says, put a star next to an important event from the story. Something that was important to the story. An event is something that happened. So, well, what happened in the story that made Tom need to be rescued? Yes, his car had hit a bump, it bounced, and it went right into the pond. Let's do that one. Okay. I'm having the same problem, but I want you to identify this. Let's do it like that. Okay. It went right into the pond. The car went into the pond, and once that happened, whew, he had a problem. All right. Now, boys and girls, today I want you to practice reading this story again. This will be our reading practice for today. Now, for your writing, again, I've already put the writing prompt on your parents' weekly planner. I want you to do your writing here. So, let me set that up. Okay. And here.
Tom
Okay, what happened? Okay. All right. This time, you're going to think about riding a horse. What you're writing about is I think riding a horse is because okay, let's take a look. I think riding a horse is blank because blank. Let's take a look. Okay, I think that riding a horse is blank because blank. In the first blank, I want you to describe how you feel about horses. You can say fun, exciting, scary, great. All right. Let's see what happened here. You can say fun, yeah. Fun, exciting, scary, great, awesome. You are describing how you feel about it. Okay, exciting, scary, great. And then you have to tell why, because remember, with because, we talked about this before, because gives a cause, it gives a reason. So you have to say what that reason is. I have two examples. I think that riding a horse is fun because I like horses. So this is the first blank. I think that riding a horse is fun because, and then this is the second blank, I like horses. Or the other example, I think that riding a horse is scary. Maybe you don't really like it because horses are big. I'm not asking you to use these two sentences. I want you to come up with your own and put that into your shared reading book. Yes, you do need to draw a picture and illustrate what you're writing. I'd like to thank those of you that are sending me pictures of your work. And also, one last thing, boys and girls, I wanted to show you that I also, on Freckle, I can check to see how many of you are working and how many minutes you're putting in or hours. Wow, we have people up to an hour and some minutes. 2 hours. Max is up to 3 hours on Freckle. All right, Danny's at an hour. And I can also tell those of you that's just put in about a couple of minutes. And then I have a whole list of people that haven't gone on at all. So remember, this is something else that you can work on during the week for your hour of online time or your 2 hours of online time. I also can check the Clever account and tell who's logged in and who hasn't logged in. Right now, these 3 people are on Clever, and I can look and see what they're working on. So boys and girls, please remember to complete or work on the assignments that I have put in place for you, because your education is still very important. Also remember to read your story that we just completed, Horses to the Rescue. Kinder, read it with a parent, and I know that you will greatly improve your reading. Before we left, you were doing an awesome job, so keep it up. All right, that is the end of today's lesson. Please continue to be safe and be careful. I'll see you next time. Bye.